doesn't.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This is Joe.
Be one of the few, the proud Marines.
These are the ABCs of me, baby!
And this is Rich.
Final warning. Primary power offline in 10 seconds.
And together we present to you
I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Say goodbye to your two best friends.
The Moxleys!
It's puzzling. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before.
Nothing is worse than having an itch you can never scratch.
Hello, everyone. It is that time again. I'm my good friend,
Joe.
and I am Rich, and this is the Monthly Itch. As you can tell by the intro, which is before this, we have to make this mention, though. We are part of the lovely people from the Independent Voice, aren't we, Joe?
Oh, yes, and they are lovely.
They are very gorgeous people, and they let us do this. And do you think they have actually listened to us yet?
I don't think anyone has listened to us, Rich, which is why I don't care for what we say.
For what we say, I've got a lot to say. How about you?
After looking at the headlines we've got to talk about,
Yeah,
I got a few
it's
things
an
I can
okay
throw in
month.
there.
It's an okay. At least no one's died.
That we know of.
Well, yeah. Well, so far, while we're recording this, no one we have known has died. So let's keep it that way.
This was recorded before the death of the artist formerly known as Prince. He passed away on April 21, 2016. We at the Itch are saddened by this news. A great American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, record producer, and actor. May he rest in peace.
There was the whole Belgian catastrophe recently, you know. It might not be music related, but we did suffer another attack by the hands of terrorism.
Yes. And we will get to that a bit later if we've got a bit of time. But to be honest, I don't want to go... Well, actually, I do want to go on a downer because I'll tell you something. Seriously.
Yes.
Right? I am pissed off.
Are you, Rich?
I am really fucking
Has
pissed
something
off.
ground your gears recently?
Grinded it. It's pulverized it. Pulverized, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm learning English. It's great.
Or you're rediscovering words you forgot you knew.
Well, you know, you had to have some co-host with a brain damage.
Punisher did a lot through brain damages. You know, it can have its disadvantages.
Oh, you're talking about the Punisher scenario. Yes, he got a bullet through his head, and it made him not feel emotion. I got the living shit kicked out of my head, and I forget things. So
some people become superheroes.
Some people become stupid. That's what we're fucking saying here right now.
It can go one way or the other.
Exactly.
Don't go rolling around in toxic waste just yet to become the Hulk.
I'm sure a few people in America are doing that right now. Whoa! This fucking comic book, it tells you the truth. It's like...
I'm a fundamentalist comic book reader. I take the word of comic books seriously. Literally.
That is true, though. If you think about it, all this shit that happened in Belgium and all that kind of stuff, you don't hear nerds or comic book fans.
You don't hear anyone else
turn around and say, right, I believe if I actually joined the US military, that I can actually have this super toxin to make me the less weedy person I am today.
I can become Captain Missouri.
But no, anyway, getting away from it, I am actually quite pissed off, right?
The terrorists, or is there something else?
Well, that didn't help my week, to be honest. But
right.
I'll tell you something. I have to put it right out here, right now. You know we do this for the heavy metal community and the punk community and all that kind of stuff.
This is our music episode segment, so we're here to talk about our metal community and what's going on currently.
Yeah, pretty much. I did a gig yesterday.
Excellent, man. I played one a couple of days prior on the Sunday.
Yes, I know. And, right. Can I just put a word out there? If people are listening, if they're still staying tuned and up to date with what's going on in the community, I'm just going to put this right out right now.
Spit it out.
What the fuck has happened to the fucking metal fans?
Explain yourself.
Explain myself. Look, I'm a type. I don't know whether I'm old school or what, but I tell you something. If a live band is in front of me, I feel the energy. I want to fucking jump around. I want to bang my fucking head, throw the horns, and make that band appreciate that they actually making people react a certain way. There's nothing worse as a front singer, right, standing there and just seeing the blank expressions of people. And I'm sure it's not, I would normally say, oh, it's probably because I'm a shit front man or whatever. But I tell you something, it is not that. It is. I've seen it in many gigs. I went to Hammerfest, as you know.
I'm jealous.
Right? Yeah. The thing is, though, with Hammerfest, it was some amazing bands.
Yeah.
Amazing bands.
Yeah.
And, right, I was actually gone to Hammerfest thinking, right, there's going to be a lot of action, and because
it's a 3-day festival.
It's
right?
a 3-day festival. I'll tell you something. The fans are getting more and more boring. It might be
wow.
No, it's I'm putting gasoline on the fire right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people who aren't like this. I respect them. If you are the type of person who actually finds the joy and the energy of what the music gives someone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. I'm coming from what I've seen recently. There is a lot of people that you do something on stage, or a band does something on stage, and you get the old round of applause, yay, like
woo,
that, woo, yay, like that, and then you get off stage and people are enthusiastic to you, like, well, man, that's fantastic, or you get that, but you don't see it anymore. It's almost like it's a cool thing to do. Is to cross your arms and just stare at it like, rabbit in headlights, like, yes, entertain you. You must entertain me. If I nod, it means you've done well. It's like, fuck off, seriously. I'm sweating. I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears in there. I do rehearsals every week, spend 4 fucking hours in a very hot room with some very, very smelly and stinky people. Right, me included in that one, because
you're putting on a show. It's
exactly.
You're not working hard unless you end up like that.
Exactly, and you do all that, and you come off from doing a 30-minute or 45-minute and all that kind of stuff, and then you get in oh man, that was fucking, if the best case scenario, I'm not rubbing my own ego here, right? But if you do a good show, you do get people come up. And then you're thinking, well, where were you? Were you stalking me in a shadow somewhere? Because I didn't see you down the fucking front enjoying yourself. I saw you, right at the back of a pub, nodding maybe, at most. And it's like, what's happened?
You're let down with the lackluster amount of energy going on in front of the band by the audience.
It's hard because, it makes you just literally want to throw your, you get your mic and you just drop it and go, fuck you guys, come on, it's like, what the fuck can I do? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to actually, I don't know. It's and I thought it was just maybe the local scene or local bands or a London area.
Right.
I went to Hammerfest.
You did.
And there is professional bands up there and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you something, it was happening there. I did find mosh pits, and I will get into that a bit later.
Sure.
As you can tell by my crooked nose, I found the mosh pit. But
there's a story behind that.
Yeah. It's not heroic, or it's not like, yeah, man, I win a mosh pit. No, it's really stupid. But it can only happen to me, basically. The fact is, I've been noticing it with recent crowds, that it's not cool to, I understand the concerns of having trauma on the neck and all that after, Tomarai and that kind of stuff, but, but the thing is, I headbang, that's fine. If people don't want to do that, that's fine, but at least show your appreciation by,
at least come towards the stage.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're going, come closer, and it's like, everyone's like, no. No, I shall watch you but at a distance, and I shall judge you by a wink or a nod, or maybe even just the glass in the air.
Hey, I'm a massive fan of the glass in the air. I pull that trick out quite a few times.
But I know I've seen you on gigs many a times, and you support local bands. And
I'm always up front.
You're always
for those
up
guys.
front, and you're always like giving it, 100% and all that. And
you gotta be supportive, man.
That's
what it is in my eyes. I'm there to support every band, so I'll be up front and stand up for them.
Exactly, and I've never seen you like these people. And I, as I said, I thought it was mainly just a London thing because I can only judge by my area because I don't get out that much.
You say that, but you do a shitload of gigs,
Yeah, true. Not as many as I want to, but yeah, I just think, I went to Hammerfest and all that, and there were some amazing gigs, and we will get to it in a second. But the thing that pisses me off is, there was this one point, right? Completely different from the Hammerfest. This is going back to. You're gonna enjoy this one.
Okay.
Devin Townsend.
Yes.
Right. Retinal Circus.
Oh, what a fucking show!
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. The one at the Roundhouse, right?
I got complained about.
But what do you mean you got complained? You got complained about.
I got complained about. Right, get this, right?
Okay.
I wasn't, when I left you guys, because I watched it with you, and I went straight in, and I went kind of like...
Well, we stayed kind of like towards the side of the stage where there was like a bit more breathing space.
But I was
you were
I'm going
Well,
in.
as soon as fucking Jed walked out, I came and joined you. I could not give up the opportunity during a fucking strapping young lad reunion.
That was a classic moment. But the thing is, I got in there before, and I started like headbanging and whipping and this person tapped me on the shoulder. And I'm like, you alright, mate? And all that. And there is a circumference that I do know that,
Everyone knows if your hair is of a certain length and you enjoy headbanging, you at least have to know how far away you are from other people.
Exactly, and I do take it in context.
No one likes smelling another man's shampoo.
No, definitely not. But he turned around and he was like, can you stop doing that?
He what? He asked you to stop headbanging?
Yes, no shit. He was like, can you stop headbanging? And I'm like, why? I said, look, I'm not whipping you, am I? And he's like, no, I just can't see the show. It's like,
move.
What? Fuck off!
I'm 4'4". I can't see the show.
I'm not that small. You bitch. I am vertically challenged, but not that fucking vertically challenged. I can be part of a fucking Hobbit group.
Well, once you've got your little stepladder, you're a bit
here comes the short jokes. Fantastic.
No.
You stoop that fucking low.
I will not. It's only just to talk to you face to face.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that was the last one.
It was.
I'm not doing it.
You
know what? I am sorry. I'm apologizing.
You should be. But anyway, okay. So I'm getting that kind of like vibe.
Yeah.
And I tell you something. I was at Hammerfest, and certain things like having like the energy of a mosh pit and all that kind of stuff. For bands that I did expect to have mosh pits and all that.
Yeah, huge kickoffs.
Nothing.
Really?
It was really hard to actually kick off something.
Okay, so this is a 3-day festival. You were there for the entire time.
Yes.
You saw most bands on that festival.
Yeah, as many as I possibly
and
can
you're
do.
and you're saying that out of all of those, how many actually had a crowd that you'd expect to turn out to metal shows?
The crowds, it was very
like, was it just two bands? Was it just the headliners that were getting?
Actually, I'll tell you something. The headliner was Cradle of Filth.
Okay.
And
well, they don't really have a massive pit for Cradle.
No, I'm not talking about pit. I'm talking about crowds. Everyone fucked off. Yeah.
All right, we'll come back to that.
Fintroll would be for them.
I love Fintroll.
And everyone went over and they all started partying. It was a really strange one.
Well, yeah, they're a party band.
It was like Flesh God, then Fintroll, and then Cradle.
That's a brutal fucking line.
Yeah, but
even with the kind of semi-success that the new album had.
I thought the album was phenomenal, but and we went there and half the crowd went.
Was it because Danny was being Danny?
No, the crowd was not there. It got kind of semi-busy, but the thing is, you shouldn't have, because the way it was actually set up, if you imagine like Butlins, because of course this was done in a like...
Is it Pontins or something?
Pontins or Butlins, or one of those type of thing. So you imagine like, they normally have those shows, so you got like certain levels.
Yeah.
Right, so the bottom level was where the people and crowds were going to be and all that kind of stuff. Well, to be honest... if you can literally put both of your hands out and basically, spin around, and not even touch anyone nearly close, That
You're
was
kidding.
basically, there was like, it would be a context of if you're
Swiss
in a gig
cheese.
venue. To be honest,
Just massive holes.
I've seen
gaps
quite a
in people.
few like underworld gigs that are a million times more thought for than
Underworld's a
others.
lot smaller though, man. Than
No, because it's still quite a small kind of compact
I
area.
grant you, a couple of the stages are really modest. There's even like it's almost like the corner of the kiosk. They got a little stage there.
Well, no,
but
because
the main stage is
no,
fairly
it's
sizable.
not a main stage. No, the main stage with Hammerfest this year, what it is, it does Hammerfest, which has got a metal, the heavier stuff, and it's got an AOR, which is adult orientated rock, which I know none of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
The adult orientated rock, I think one of them was Quiet Riot or something like that. They were on the main stage. This was a smaller place.
Okay.
This was
Is this the one that has like the big bar at the back? Like
Yes, on the site, and it's. I'll tell you something. It's fantastic seeing some of these bands like Flesh God Apocalypse.
In
It's
such a
fantastic
sm-
seeing in a small venue with a smaller crowd of people. But the thing is, it was also very, very surprising that Fintroll got such a great response and all that kind of stuff, and. Then everyone kind of went out to have a fag, and I thought, oh, hey, going out to have a fag. No one really came back in, and I think Danny was surprised about it because he was looking out and he was like, wow, I can see, they've just, because he actually mentioned he had jet lag and he just came off a tour and all that.
Yeah.
And he's probably done a tour of America,
Massive
probably
arenas
massive
filled.
arena, and then come here into
playing this small little pocket in Wales.
Exactly, yeah.
Where there's not even enough people to fill out the place.
Yeah, exactly. There was enough to actually walk around. It was surreal. But
So you're saying that even using that as an example, not even for the local scene, but specifically for the local scene, I guess, you're not seeing the same kind of enthusiasm, the kind of excitement or enjoyment from fans or from audience participants of bands. What are you getting at? What's your main
I
point?
don't know. That's the problem I've got. I'm trying to work it out myself. My mind's ticking over because I remember, going to like the Underworld, as we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And, you used to pay a £5 door fee, go in and see all these unsigned bands. And it used to be everyone used to be jumping up and down, going crazy and all that, because it used to be
That was
really
just
good
what we
fun.
did back then.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's me, but it seems a certain element which is like headbanging. I used to go to gigs and everyone's bashing their heads or going in the fight pits or just screaming out and all that kind of stuff. It seemed to be a kind of like a very, but now it seems very reserved, I suppose. That's the word I'm looking for. It seems very much like, I don't know whether they're saving themselves in some ways for maybe...
To them, it's no different than seeing a movie. They wish they had a seat so they can have even more comfort watching a live act than
maybe
something
it
else.
is. It felt a bit like that, and like there was a few bands that I might just briefly talk about, maybe at the end of the podcast or something, if we get time. But just a quick review of the actual Hammerfest, and there were some bands that were absolutely spectacular, and I was jumping up and down with joy and acting like a complete loon, as you know I am. And and the people looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like
It's a world removed from what you remember it being, man. I get what you're saying. Like, I do agree to a very high extent. Like, I've played places and I've just turned up to watch other guys play and experienced exactly what you're describing, where most people are just kind of happy to just stand there and enjoy the show being put on by the performers.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, man, because I think it's still there. I don't think it's as prevalent as we remember it being from our days.
Because it might be oversaturated? The scene might be oversaturated. That basically you can sit down, because I'm going to sound really old, but the fact is you had to go and see the gig to see a gig. Nowadays I can look on YouTube. Like when I played that gig last night, every single band that was on that bill I've seen already because I've watched it on YouTube,
phone,
or I've listened to it because they've been on SoundCloud and all that kind of stuff. So I know what they sound like. There's no excitement in like discovering, wow, fucking hell. Well, there is a few occasions if I don't check him out beforehand, but a lot of people have got so much information to the fingertips.
Yeah.
This is going back to last month's thing, where I was kind of like semi-agreeing with what they were saying in Anthrax, and the Scotty intern around said about technology, being the downfall. And I thought because he was talking more of a money sense, but I have to be honest with this whole weekend and all that kind of stuff.
It's turning to the people themselves are changing.
Because this is I might not have mentioned it if it did happen again last night. I had a good crowd. They were lovely people. I met loads of them, great bands as well on the bill. But the thing is, it just I was every single band that was before me and after me. I was up front and personal, banging my head, and even a few of the bands mentioned, we saw you down there. You were the only person doing it. I'm like, well, that's what I do. It's not what I do. It's what you're meant to do. It's like,
this is the standard, right?
This
is how you're able to wear this badge that says you're a fucking dedicated metalcore.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, man.
Neck ache of the future.
Exactly. Everyone must have slipped at least one vertebrae to
I'd
be
be
able
a
to
hunchback.
qualify.
Can you imagine how short I would be if I was a hunchback? I'm getting there before you get there, man.
There's been so many times I've been worried about my neck because I'm like you, man. I headbang to fuck. But to be fair, that's when I'm actually playing and I'm actually like putting a show on kind of thing. That's when I get really lost into it and I just let the energy kind of take itself. But when I'm in the audience, I've got to, you know what? You're going to hate me now.
Go on.
I have to raise my hand and be like, I'm kind of one of those old fucks now that stand there. Like, to be fair, if it's like a show I'm not involved with at all, I will go, and if the right band doing the right things, playing the right things that hit me in the right way, I will get less lost up and just go crazy, and I'll start like just jumping around, head banging, windmilling, find someone else who's doing something and bounce off of them kind of thing. You know, just usual moshing shit. But I haven't had that inkling for a while now, and to be fair, I've noticed that unless you're really up front, like the Fear Factory show we went to, end of the year in December 2015, it had a great fucking energy. Like it was the Kentish Forum, wasn't it? Yeah. The place was heaving, and when Fear Factory were playing, they were going fucking nuts. And even when they crushed the place with an hour of metal, to come on and do an encore and have Edge Crusher reignite, like the energy levels for the encore were as high and as heightened as the opening track of the set kind of thing. So I think you gotta contextualize it, man. Like, you gotta overanalyze it, because A, you're talking it's Fear Factory, right? B, we're talking, as we've in the previous podcast spoken, it was one of our favorite gigs of the year. Their sound was incredible. That was working for them. It was in celebration of one of their most pivotal albums. You know, there were a lot of things that had to align to make the crowd go that place. Plus, it's that popular and it's that sold out. But when you're talking smaller shows, where it's not particularly sold out, you might have about 50 odd people there or something. Right. It's usually in a setting as well where you might get a couple of crazy guys or a few, pockets of kids that just want to have an extra kind of like, we're outside, so we get to like,
so you're saying I'm part of a lunatic fringe?
No. I am in a roundabout way, I guess.
But no. The thing is, I understand what you're saying, but I was in the mosh pit to that, and I was looking around, and to be honest, if there was even around about a 5% amount of people from that gig showing that amount of energy at any other local gig or what I've seen recently, that would be fantastic. Where are those people? Do you have to know the album, or does it have to be a recall
it's
to
just
the past
it's
or
a
something?
whole.
Can't you do it to new music?
It's a handful of bullet points over just what I described of how it gets me going. It has to be the right group of ingredients that suddenly hit the right moment, in which case you get in. Like, all right, the gig that I played a handful of days ago, it was crazy. The place wasn't packed out. It was nicely filled, but there was definitely pockets of space. During the whole night, there was like a really great, enthusiastic, energetic crowd. Like, these guys were rabid, and they were thrashing out to every single band. They were going up to the front and headbanging in a line, like chorus line procession. And when we got up there, because we were last, there wasn't. They were the same people, but they were breakdancing. Like they were body popping, they were spinning, they were handstanding, they were like flicking, doing the worm, they were doing push-ups. Like about 5 of them just got down and started doing military push-ups, and I was like, fucking hell. I was just like, well, this is clearly like we're the last ones on. You're fairly tanked. It's late into the night. You guys are just up for any kind of.
I gotta be honest. I'd rather see all that stuff. That
it was great. I'm saying that it exists because that was fucking sensational. I don't think I've played a gig where people have just spontaneously bust out a breakdance.
I don't know. I've been to many
to metal as well. That's what I loved it even more. Like seeing someone going across the dance floor doing the worm whilst you're busy chugging out. It's pretty cool.
But then again, I'm not getting. I think you might be crossing paths here, because the thing is, I'm not saying. Right. Okay. It's not so much I said I choose to headbang. I know there's neck problems and all that. Yeah. I choose to jump around because that's how I show myself. But the thing is, I'm talking about, the whole poker face.
Oh, definitely the stone cold killer.
I've seen you, and I know you don't. You headbang very rarely and all that stuff, and only on stage and all that. But the thing is, I can tell when you're enjoying yourself.
Well, I got at least a smile on my face.
And you're like, yeah, like that.
Yeah, you throw a chant out, you throw a yeah out.
Exactly.
You clap, you raise your glass.
But this was none of that.
Just crickets and tumbleweeds.
Yeah, well, there was a
polite golf clap. Yeah. That's what we got.
But I'm not talking about my gig. I'm talking about the other ones as well. It's like, the thing is, showing enthusiasm. I'm not saying about starting the mosh pit. If you're not a mosher, then fair enough. You're not a headbanger, fair enough. Yeah. But the thing is, fucking just show something. It's almost like when I'm on stage, when I've got stacks of energy, as you know. When I'm on stage, the reason I'm so energetic, and if you want me to be going past that 100% stage and going completely apeshit, the one thing you need to do is show me your respect and thing in the pit, or in energy off stage, because that I feel basically when you're on stage, the energy crosses over. Yeah. So if the energy on stage is
the audience
hot,
gets fed by the band,
and vice versa, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, that's what I wasn't feeling. I was in the crowd at Hammerfest in some of the actual things, and I'm thinking, the band's doing really well, but I'm feeling no energy. There's nothing going on. It's not the band's fault. It seems like
some mentality within the people watching.
It just seems there's a spot of almost like arrogance of like, well, we've seen you on YouTube and we've seen you do this, and when you go to see a comedian, for example, and he's doing all his same jokes type thing, and because you've seen the DVD, and sometimes you get like, oh fuck's sake, he's doing the same material he's done on the last DVD.
You can go that way, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a few comedians do it for about the past 4 or 5. Lee Evans is a prime example.
Oh, come on,
I love Lee Evans.
He comes out every year or two with a brand new set of material.
Yeah, but he still keeps the Bohemian Rhapsody, and he keeps the classics.
Oh, well,
it's almost like the Maiden with their special songs they need to actually play every single time.
Well, once something hits, you either do a variation of it as a follow-up, or you just do a direct rip-off of it, don't you?
But that's the thing is, it's kind of like you get that kind of mentality of like, well, you played that last time, or I've seen I've seen your track on YouTube, or I think it's just. It might just be me. It might just be fresh in my mind at the moment because it's happened. Not, the gig, people can either love or hate me or love or hate my band or whatever. That's not really a thing. I've seen it on several occasions.
With
that's making
varying bands of success.
Exactly. And I've seen them with other bands, and, whether they're the more mainstream type, like Cradle, or the lower, the smaller bands, like the ones I've played with. I just felt, even when people are really into it, they're almost like, I can't show that I'm into it because that's not overly cool. And that's what I'm forgetting now. Where's the
I don't want to stick out like a sore thumb, because I'd be the only one kind of doing
exactly.
it.
Where's the individuality that is associated with the scene?
I think it's still there, man.
I think
it is. What I think, and I'm more concerned about, is the numbers that are turning out. because whilst there will always be a small audience in attendance for most of the local gigs in and around London, I swear when now I sound old. I swear when we were young, these places had far more places.
We actually got a pipe in our mouths while we were talking about all this. Yeah, it's like
there's a fire roaring in the background.
And
right
we got
now.
rocking chairs,
dressing gowns, and brandies, and
yes, we're so regal here.
yes.
Oh yes, in my days,
Many
it was
fine leather.
Anyway,
books.
I've said my piece, right? I just wanted to, because of course we're talking about our community and everything like that.
And this was an observation.
This is an observation, and it got to me, and I was just thinking, well, what's a podcast for?
It's a platform.
There's a
to
platform
talk
to
bullshit.
talk, and yeah, whether you agree with me or not, maybe a lot of people have actually seen it. If you have actually seen it, or
Well, no, it's
agree,
definitely interesting,
please.
man. Like, it's something that, as yourself going out there playing as regularly as we do,
Yeah.
you notice things, man. And there's
It's just
definitely something
10
I've
years
noticed that's
ago,
kind of similar.
yeah, 10 years ago it wasn't like that, and I'm thinking there's a certain wave of I don't think people expect, it's not expectation or anything like that, but it's kind of almost like it's more an image thing, I feel, and it's something that's going to drain the energy and the spirit out of the music that we love and adore. This is what I'm worried about.
Well, in that case, let's hope people talk to us. What do you think?
What do you think? And also, if you're at a gig, show your fucking appreciation.
Absolutely.
Get in the fucking front and throw your hands in the air. Throw the fucking beer in not in the face. I'm gonna throw it up in the air just to show that you are enjoying it. It's the simple things like that that makes it worth it for a small band or even one of the big bands. It doesn't really matter.
Well,
anyway,
just starting out and turning up would be a great start.
Yeah,
Let's talk about what they get up to once they've arrived.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway, that's my rant of this episode, all nicely done.
Well,
but I'll tell you something, we're here for one reason only. What's that, Joe?
To give the ladies and gentlemen listening at home,
Oh, yes.
the monthly headlines of what's happened in the rock, metal, and punk community.
So, these are your monthly headlines.
Heading on to our headlines for this month. We've got the Deftones again once in our headlines. Kind of a continuation on from our story from our last month's edition, but we will talk more about that in depth to come.
Which you can actually check out last month's on SoundCloud. So
Yes,
please
you
do.
can. And YouTube.
And you can download it as well.
Next up, we've got Marilyn Manson and Justin Bieber. Yeah, I can see by the look on your face that you've got quite a few things to say about this little story of ours. Wow, speechless. I've never seen or witnessed this. This is a miracle. I'm glad I'm getting this nothing recorded to prove to people, look, he shut up. He stopped saying stuff. He literally just went bright red, started rocking in a chair, and went deeply silent.
I can't even look at a picture.
It's fucking weird, isn't
Come
it?
on, what's the next one? Quickly.
Oh wow, he wasn't wrong. Well, this is kind of like two stories leading into one point, really.
There is always a point.
Well, this one is due to, well, I guess you've got to look at it from the metal industry profits. Like, I hate to get all accountancy financial on you, but the two stories we've got are involving the Defiled and the Butcher Babies.
They're not too far apart.
You may have realised that the Defiled recently called it a day. They are no longer. They are hanging it up. And the Butcher Babies released a statement fairly recently, within the month, that they're broke as shit. Now,
I know a feeling. You think we get paid for this podcast? You're screwed if you ever do a podcast.
There's only so far love and the want can take you. Unfortunately, you need financial stability to pursue it,
or
long term,
or mental health issues, which I think we've got in large
when you're as
quantities.
broke as shit, it's enough to cause that kind of mental issue upon you, all the pressures and stress of shit. Because the Defiled announced their closure due to not being able to financially, pursue their career. And
Interesting.
it is something that we're going to be talking about coming up. But moving on, we're going to need that jingle. we're going to need it because
What jingle's this?
Tool is back in our headline. This time, a little
guy behind the sheet.
Well, he's actually he's talking a lot recently. You know, for a guy who likes to hide in obscurity in front of thousands of people who are there to watch him, he's actually now verbally quite the chatty man.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
what's he got to say?
Well, Maynard James Keenan has stated that an extinction. Sorry, my apologies. An extinction level event will set us straight. He's implying that we need a world catastrophe to cleanse the earth. So we're going to be talking about that a lot more in depth because holy shit, man, that's a bold announcement. Some of us think it, but we never actually publicly go out there and say, no, I kind of want this for now. Moving on, we've got...
this is a sad one, this one.
You've already seen the headline coming up, which involves ACDC and their current tour. What's happened with their lead singer Brian Johnson, and at this point in time, now following on from that, what rumours are currently circulating about how that tour is going to continue on.
Oh God!
So, ladies and gentlemen,
April Fools! It's saying I'm hoping it is, but when we're recording this is in March, so it's a bit too early for April Fools. But please, let's be true. What's the headline?
Axl Rose of the band Guns N' Roses supposedly to take the place of Brian Johnson to finish off the amount of dates they have left in America.
I got nothing else to say.
This is going to be a very short show then, ladies and gentlemen, so we're not
Until
going to waste
later.
your time. That is all the items we will be covering in this month's edition of the Joe and Rich Monthly Itch in association with the Independent Voice. So, moving on to our first story.
Yes.
Rich, cast your mind back.
I can't remember yesterday. Well, I can, and that's that fucking gig that we explained earlier. But you're talking about a past podcast that people can actually download now.
Yes, they can.
Yes.
They don't have to stream it
No.
on their device and take up their mobile data.
So, yeah, just go on SoundCloud and you can just press a download button and you can get it just for free.
And in your own time, at any point.
At your own leisure, and you can just save it to. It comes as an MP3 or something like that. You can just listen to it. It's completely free. So why don't you do it? And please share it about. It's nice to do that.
Yeah,
it's very
spread the
kind
word
of you.
and have a proper conversation about all
So-
the random shit we talk about. Of which,
Yes.
in that last episode that you so kindly explained is now available for download.
Yes.
We spoke about the new album from the Deftones.
Yes, we did, and it was about the guitarist who said a new album, which is I can't say the new album title without going death metal. Gore. Or that Rhino, Gore, Gore, Gore. Yeah.
Oh,
so
excellent.
yeah. So basically, okay. Apart from the obvious reference to wrestlers, the album. I believe the guitarist was doing a great thing with promotion and saying, I know what I do. See, I'm doing impressions this month, motherfucker.
You got to try the voices out, are you?
I know what I'm going to do.
Oh,
Stop
so
it.
So
I'm
this is
trying to
Stephen
do-
Carpenter.
I'm trying to do it
This is how
seriously.
Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones speaks.
Yeah, it probably does.
I know what I'm gonna do. I criticise my band.
See, it's not a bad one.
I'm trying to place who you're ripping off. It sounds so familiar to me.
I'm gonna try and do my band, and I've reported last time that I didn't like the album, and the guys from the band aren't very happy with me. So I'm gonna come out in the media and go, actually, I've listened to it again. It's actually not a bad album, Gore.
Yeah. So that's basically
That's
what.
the story, yeah.
That is the story in a nutshell, isn't it?
He basically last month said, this new album that
He
we're
got
about
slapped
to release,
around by a fucking
I
other
don't
band
really
man.
like it that much.
Yeah, Chino came up to him and went, "You bitch! What fucking work we done?"
It's hard enough. There are bands who can't maintain this. We're gonna be like them. Shut your mouth. Go and tell everyone that's bullshit. This is a great album. You loved it.
But I want to do grindcore.
It's like, no, you don't do that.
Those
We
days
stick to
are
the 4 riff fucking structure that can bore a person to shit.
Oh, whoa. Hang on.
You were going there, though.
I got caught up, all right? I got caught up
Go
in the
on,
mob.
moment.
The mob swept me in. I got just taken away with it all. No, I've come to my senses now. You've crossed the line, sir.
There was no line to begin with. You ask a guitarist that.
Oh, fuck. So, yeah, man, this is how weird. Like,
This is how PA shouldn't be done. And that's actually letting your guitarist or drummer or speak ever.
Oh, it's so weird, man. Like, you want to read between the lines of this, don't you?
There's no reading between the lines. Last month he went, actually, I really fucking hate this fucking album.
He didn't say that.
Well, okay, I'm what's it called? I'm paraphrasing on this one.
I
But
think
basically-
taking way too many artistic fucking liabilities.
Look, I'm reading between the lines this time, bitch. Right, and then he's come out and went, actually, I was wrong. It's like, you can't be wrong about it. If you either love or hate something.
It's the classic. Oh, I was taken
It
out
grows
of
on
context.
you.
Yeah, I've listened back to it again and again now, and yeah.
Oh, I'm starting to like it now. It's your fucking album. Just fucking, you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, then fuck off and join the fucking other hybrid bullshit band like it is.
Oh, so unfair. So unfair.
Well, you guys all agree.
No, I'm looking forward
we're
to
not
listening to the
we're not
whole
going to do
album.
any interviews with Chino. Trust me on this
No,
one.
I want to do them with Stephen.
Yeah, let's do a guitarist and ask his real opinion on it.
What else do you hate, Steve?
Actually, I don't know his baggy shorts. So you hate your image? Yeah. Chino comes in and bitch slaps him like a fucking mobster he is. You don't fucking talk about that!
Dumb motherfucker.
Motherfucker, you fucking talking
Go out
about
there, you
shit.
tell the people that we're trying to be selling them to.
We're fucking
Tell 'em the shit.
professional fucking
Your
band.
shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right
I
now.
got fucking 7 words for you, bitch. Fuck, yeah.
And they go bang, 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 bang.
In your ass.
Dead, you mook.
Oh, God. So, yeah, that's the story.
That is the story. Chino had a word with Stephen Carpenter.
Yeah. Next time would be your fucking knees. We don't need your knees. So, yes, that's the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's done.
I
Okay.
guess there's
So,
nothing more to say it,
just make your fucking mind up, Jesus Christ. Oh, jeez. There's an overall theme on this fucking whole podcast.
Well, it's just time wasting bullshit.
Yeah. Bit like Deftones album.
You haven't. I can't believe you, man.
Can't believe you
would do this.
I'm going to get a
You're so
fucking email from
judgmental
Chino
and
going,
pessimistic.
yo, bitch.
You're turning into just an audio version of one of those trolls in the comments section.
Oh,
man.
no,
Don't let
I'm
it
not
happen
that
to you.
bad. Not
Don't
that
get
bad.
swept up in the negativity.
No, I'm not
We've
that
yet
bad.
to see Batman versus Superman. It could be awesome.
Oh, don't get started on that. That
No,
is
we
another
won't.
podcast for another day.
There it is.
Yeah,
so
here we go.
Ending that story.
Yes, end it.
Before I even had a chance to say
I
anything.
just see the picture. Marilyn Manson, Justin Bieber.
Thank-
What cunts?
Thank you, Rich, for introducing our next story, which
They're
is
doing the duck face as well. It's like a meant to be like a blowjob face. They're probably 69 in themselves with a fucking video camera.
what Rich is losing bowel control to right now. Is
Motherfucker!
a picture of Brian Warner, more popularly known as Marilyn Manson, hanging out and taking a selfie with Justin Bieber, the king of pop currently.
He ain't no fucking gigabop. That's Michael fucking Jackson. You take that back. I'll tell you
the
something.
crown's
Fuck
vacant
Deftones
now.
and all that shit, but he is this fucking serious. Only one king of pop on this one. But I'll tell you something. I've just looked at that picture. I'm actually crying. I just was like, I wasn't expecting that.
It's
I really
fucking a
wasn't.
sight to see, isn't it, though?
The
man?
thing is, though,
Like, Manson looks positively terrifying in that.
to be honest, I've seen him on the Antichrist tours and all that kind of stuff and all the other ones. He never has looked more satanic in his fucking life than with the actual Antichrist himself.
Oh,
The Justin Bieber himself. But I'll tell you something, this is a lesson. I tell you something. This is truly a lesson, my friend. Right?
Okay,
From
I'm
a good
paying
book
attention.
of metal. Right?
Got my pen ready. I'm
Right.
taking notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this whole thing stems from a lot of drug taking. This proves to you that drugs are bad. Whatever the fucking they say on the media and all that, all they need to do is just show this photo to fucking people, and they will quit drugs tomorrow because drugs. I mean, no one's gonna quit drugs, but take up jugs instead of drugs. It's fine, you know. But man, this is bad. I
don't like the jugs, but the
jugs like me.
Don't like the drugs, the drugs.
Oh man, I'll tell you something. So he's the article is saying Justin Bieber is in the center of reinventing himself as a more edgy, and the way to actually make it edgy, man,
is to surround yourself by established rock guys,
man,
and fake your way to the top just like he has in the pop world.
And then I bet he comes out in a couple of months like Kanye West,
Kanye.
Yeah, says I'm a rock god. Look, I've had selfies with Marilyn Manson. He's evil.
I've lip sunk to Ozzy Osbourne and dressed up in him.
I've got a Metallica t-shirt. So I must be metal.
I've even hung out with Frankie Bello of Anthrax. People.
He didn't know who I was, and I didn't know
Frankie
he was
and I go way
until
back.
Until someone told me, and I went, yeah, I'm gonna name drop that bitch on my Twitter account, and I can do it shirtless with a photo of him on my fucking nipple, and I'm gonna go, yes, I met this guy. I'm metal. It's like he's even got a bandana, like Jesus Christ.
Well, this is fucked up on two levels, man.
2 levels. I can only see one level, and that's the whole fucking story.
Multiple, man.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
go on.
All right, so this is basically a picture that's been taken. This is a picture of Justin Bieber taking a selfie, posing next to Marilyn Manson, of which Marilyn Manson is more than happy of taking.
But then again,
a twin
he might
fucking
be so stoned out of his fucking face that he's
wearing massive rectifier sunglasses.
Yeah.
But actually, those might not be sunglasses. Those are his pupils that have just fucking grown.
You gotta be on good shit to actually take a selfie with Justin Bieber.
He has no idea this is Justin Bieber.
And not a 12-year-old girl.
He thinks this is Brie Olsen or something.
Actually, he probably looking at Justin Bieber right there, he probably thinks it is a young girl and he was going to want to fucking hit a bit later. You know, it's like, man, this woman just came up to me and done a selfie and she was pretty fucking hot.
Dude, you do realise that's Justin Bieber?
Is that a woman's name, Justin?
When your eyes are enlarged to that size, how could you have not noticed it was Justin Bieber?
But it was a hot chick.
No, seriously. It's a guy that's underdeveloped. I believe.
Bring him upstairs later.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's cool, man. I'm the Antichrist. I can do whatever I like.
He had a phone. He can film shit that I get.
I don't know why I'm talking like this when I'm trying to be Marilyn Manson, but I can imagine him doing this when he's in drugs. And I'm sad to side of it. I'm sad from it. I love you very much. That's what I can imagine when you're really on.
Turns into Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yeah,
that's Marilyn Manson.
My hero. Yeah, I can imagine Marilyn Manson's drug voice would be. I love you very much. I'm evil. I really am. It's like,
I can't see that at all. But
I'm saying this fella with this gorgeous guy. And name's Justin Bieber. That was awesome. It's like, wow.
I'm going to bring us back to this fucking photo.
Oh, yeah, back to the photo. I went off my screen, actually.
I want to know. Because this is like not the first time that they've fucking done this shit. Like, there's other pictures of them out there where Bieber was just taking like a selfie with a fan and he was snapped in a Marilyn Manson t-shirt. To which Manson replied, wearing a Justin Bieber t-shirt.
No! Drugs are bad.
And then
Boys
they
and
go
girls.
and fucking find each other one night out in LA and take a selfie together. And it's just like, dude, like, I don't know what to think. My brain can't comprehend what's going on.
Yeah. I honestly think this is a whole idea of pop acts are slowly dying a death, and it's happened many a times.
Are they? I don't know if they are.
But no, seriously, the metal community, that it's been, all the like Spotify. and album sales and all that kind of stuff, have actually turned around and said all these pop albums and all these kind of things, like all the most kind of like people jumping on Spotify are searching for rock and heavy metal and punk.
I've seen those statistics,
right?
yeah.
And those statistics are basically turning around and saying all these one-hit wonders. So there's probably someone in the background going, we need to get into that demographic. It's a whole Bill Hicks fucking thing about marketing.
Okay.
You know, they're looking at us going, saying, look, he's sold loads and he's got a dedicated fan following. If you get involved with him...
Bieber's fan base must be bajillions times bigger than Manson's.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all to do with longevity, because all these boy bands, and there's only a few like boy and girl bands.
Oh, right, I see what you're saying. You're saying Bieber's spotlight, because he's getting old in the pop field, is quickly diminishing, and so he's now looking to jump onto a genre where it's got long-lasting appeal.
Of course, that's where the money is. If you think about it, always rock stars like the Aussies and Motorhead from the past. The way there's a resurgence in rock and metal, especially in America and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, even though it's not getting airplay and all that kind of stuff, the fans, ourselves, Jesus Christ, when Sabbath are going to do a reunion tour, I'm going to be there. And I've seen Sabbath many a times doing reunion tours mainly, but, it's like, the thing is...
farewell tours.
Yeah, but the thing is, with these pop, I've seen it with a lot of people, like, doing that... Who was that girl who done... I'm really not up with pop and bollocks like that, because I can't stand it. But what's that fucking person who, like, had a Disney, not cartoon, Disney program, and then she became a singer, and then she became all...
Which one? Are you talking about Britney, Christina, or Justin? Or Miley?
Miley, that's
Miley
a
Cyrus.
fucking... with a finger and up the cunt and all that kind of stuff. For example, her, she's tried the edgy look, like, I'm rocking and I'm rolling, and I say, look at me, I'm
Miley's something else, man. That's pure sexual explosion right there.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
That shit turns me off. I don't want to see someone fucking grinding up to people like a fucking dog. It's kind of like, I've seen fucking animals on the Animal Channel do it with more finesse than fucking Miley Cyrus did. It's like, all you
You'd
need
rather
is...
see baboons fucking than Miley
Exactly.
on a wrecking ball with a TikTok.
Exactly,
No,
that's
sorry.
it. Sorry.
Thank you for the offer, but I'm satisfied with my
I'm alright, I'll go with the monkeys.
Hippos coming next.
Oh!
I'm very intrigued.
I want to see how that happens. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's all a marketing ploy. I don't know whether it's because it's
so you
mutually...
don't think it's admiration or mutual respect for or being a fan of him. You don't think that's to do with this at all. You think it's all a marketing ploy. To whose benefit? How the hell is Marilyn Manson going to accept that? Then?
Right, okay. Marilyn Manson back in the 90s, when I was a big fan of him, and I was a big fan of him at the time.
I was bigger.
Right. All right, okay, you were bigger, right? You're bigger in many ways, and still am. But no, the thing is, right, when he's hot at the time, because, of course, he came out with this gimmick. He's a master of manipulation in a kind of gimmick setting.
Manipulation or showman? Like, he's the Alice Cooper of that our generation.
Yeah, which is Alice Cooper, but he was a journalist of Metal Magazine. Basically saw these other groups and all that, and thought, I wanted to incorporate the Aussie and the Alice and make it a million times more. And let's face it, he done well, because he got up the nose of the establishment, and they burnt fucking albums. Did you see some of the things back in the day?
Well, yeah, but
they
then
were burning the albums.
You're talking especially back in that time in America, a whole Christian-led country. But all of a sudden, this Antichrist comes out of anywhere. Of course, it was going to cause a stir.
What I'm actually getting at is, at the time, he was ahead of the curve on that kind of thing. He found that genre. The thing is, what they're doing at the moment is basically Manson is doing this for marketing as well. I'm not saying it's one way. I'm saying it's a bit of both.
What's the end goal of this whole marketing?
Why are they doing this? The end goal is basically what they're actually trying to do is make sure they realise that basically the teenage girls that were screaming and all that kind of stuff, like the edgy guy, likes the more like I'm a wild fucking, all this antics he's done, like pissing in a bucket with a person mopping and spitting and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of, he's making they're thinking they've probably done a fucking thing where they've gone, I know what, let's cast 100 girls and ask them what attracts them from the ages from 12 to bloody 16, and one of the things like we like someone with a bit more edge and a bit more like I'm evil.
So, I see what you're saying, but that then Intel works for Bieber. Bieber will gain that kind of credibility by doing this with Marilyn Manson. What does Manson get out of this?
The same thing as he got when he actually started out, and that was people our age, where we were about 14, 15, revolting against society and all that. He's going to get a cluster of all these angst-ridden fucking teenagers. Because
that listen to Bieber, they're going to suddenly discover Manson and become huge fans.
I'm not being funny. The Manson of the day is, they put one of the Manson songs it's been on Grand Theft Auto, I believe, and also one of the Manson songs was on John Wick.
Would you kill John Wick for $2 million? After all, you were close. Consider it done. Thank you, Marcus. I know I can trust you. Thanks for the time.
And some other series.
Yeah, not
as well.
exactly girl-friendly films.
No. What I mean is,
not that I'm saying there aren't there.
It's like what I'm saying is saturating the actual. They're both on the same quest. And that's how are you going to stay influence to the crowd that you've already got. Manson. All the fans have grown older and going, well, he was better back then. He's trying to get hold of a younger crowd because that's
what his new music is meant to do. That's how you're meant to pull fans in.
Yeah,
I don't see how
I'm not
the
saying
music
it's
he
wrong.
creates would
I'm not saying
appeal
it's wrong.
to
I think
the
this
fans
is a bit
that
wrong, but
gravitate toward Bieber.
But I just personally think it stinks of because there was a few occasions where these pop princesses came out and they were wearing a Motley Crue t-shirt or one had a Motorhead t-shirt, and don't forget those fucking t-shirts were actually in Top Shop and all that kind of stuff. It's basically the imagery that a lot of the younger angst-ridden teens want to do. They want to think, oh, I'm evil and all that. They're not
it's like when you saw Kim Kardashian in a Motorhead t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. You get all these reality people with that kind of stuff, and oh wow, suddenly he's become a Metallica fan. It's like going up to someone on the street with an ACDC from Topshop.
To be fair, there was a video of him going around singing along to Fade to Black, I want to say.
I've never
actually
seen
like in the studio. I think he was making one of his albums, and there's just a quick little minute video where the guitarist is playing Fade to Black and Bieber's singing, or he's playing and singing it. I can't
To be honest, it probably is. Maybe he's gone through the actual stage, but I'll tell you something.
I think it's curious to actually look at that angle of it, man, because that's what really makes me interested, rather than straight away repulsively.
Well, no, because I'll tell you something. No,
because it could just be like this. Because if you actually want to go back and look at like little Bieber's career from early on, he was just like any other.
Okay, can
musician,
I just stop you
not
there?
Not into metal or rock
just
or
stop
anything,
you there.
but there's that moment when we all grow up, where we suddenly find it.
No.
And we're like, holy hell, man.
I'm going to stop you there because this made me literally physically repulsed to a point where I'm actually throwing up in my mouth slightly.
Watch my carpet.
Right, seriously.
So you listen to a lot of Justin Bieber? Is that what we're gonna? Justin Bieber?
Who the fuck's Justin Bieber?
Good. I like that answer. That's perfect.
Right, I believe that the heavy metal and the rock community, we look after each other, and we are our own. We realise we monitor ourselves. That's what I've always thought, because I'll tell you something. There is a few arseholes and cunts that do suddenly.
For the rest of us.
They slide through the net. But mostly, when you go to these places, you have a certain moral code, and you actually, the thing is, I would like to think that those people who say, "Oh, I once liked Metallica, and now,
that one summer I was into Slayer."
Exactly. Yeah.
What is your damage, little boy?
You got a sick and twisted world perspective.
You know, I think basically, you know, when they turn around and say, oh, it's a passing phase, you know, you've probably heard it, I've heard it many a times.
You ain't grown out of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, that's what I think is a bullshit. You know, all this, I think, yeah, if he listens to Faith back, yeah, fair enough, all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you something, I don't think it's what you think it is. I think basically what it is basically he's probably picked up a few albums and went, oh man, this is really weird and crazy and all that stuff. And yeah, he's probably got a bit of admiration, but then again, you know, it's because at the moment he's got no admiration from anyone anyway, because everyone knows he's a cunt.
Well, okay, I'm going to present this to you. We spoke about previously when Lady Gaga came out and was really pimping out and saying she was excited for when Iron Maiden's The Book of Soul comes out, and that if she was ever to, at the end of her career, have it reflected back upon, she would have the kind of impact that Iron Maiden would have had, or she would have loved the career of Iron Maiden.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
So that's a pop icon giving respect and dues to a very creditable established metal thing.
What were we talking about? We're not talking about
Are
pop
you okay
icons.
with that statement as opposed to this? Like, is it kind of not the same thing?
We're talking about...
Isn't it just fellow music people having respect and some kind of looking up to for these artists? Like, it's impossible, surely, as a pop artist, not to look at these hardened veterans of rock and have a little bit more respect for them for what they go through as opposed to what they do.
Yeah, but I'm actually saying basically a few do come through the net. Lady Gaga, her history is she writes her own music and her own actual lyrics and all that kind of stuff. And
so
it has
does
got
Bieber.
an alternative. No, he doesn't.
Yes,
he gets a lot of things written for him.
So does Gaga. No more than any other.
Actually, she writes her own stuff, I believe.
Well,
but
yeah,
the
so
thing is,
to a
what I'm
certain
actually
degree, but so does Bieber. Like,
here we go. This is what I'm actually basically saying. This is quite straightforward, right? I laughed at that because basically I see him and he's a prick, right? And
why is he a prick? Like, I'm not arguing.
What do you mean? Why is he a prick? You want a fucking list? I'm not going to give you a list of things.
Is
All
it
you got
because
to do
of
is
his
listen
antics
to
off the stage, or is it because of his music in general that you just don't
everything? Everything about him is basically, if he is a poster child for the next Metal Hammer, I am giving up fucking metal, right? Or Terrorize or something. There with fucking Gore or something
but
like that.
But you're alright with Baby Metal being on the cover of...
I'm not alright with fucking Baby Metal. I never said that. Don't fucking put shit in my fucking... I felt fucking like... I don't know where... When I got Baby Metal on the fucking covers, I didn't know what to do because it was like... They're like 12-year-olds and they're
14
like...
and 12.
Yeah, I went all dad mode. It was
why
are you dressing like that? That's too much... It's probably a British thing as well. But I'll tell you something. Well, the problem I've actually got, and it will actually come down, you've actually diagnosed this. You've peeled back the layers and you've actually found the root of the actual cause. And the root of the cause, my friend...
Tell me, man.
...is basically he should be nowhere near our fucking scene because he is a cock, right? And I'll tell you something. There's a few people I want to be actually... killed, right? And you know, just because it's a mercy.
That's a heavy.
It's a mercy killing. It's saving him from himself. Come on.
Then where do you draw the line? Who else do you take out?
I'm a punisher of the fucking metal community.
And I'm the daredevil here to stand up for some kind of
You're
moral
the moral fucking compass to me. But I'll tell you something. There's a few people that basically, for their own safety and others, should be exterminated. Right?
It doesn't have to be this way.
It does.
It doesn't have to be this way.
Justin
You've got
Bieber,
a choice.
man.
You've got a choice.
Justin Bieber's got to go.
You can't just kill people.
But they don't get up from it. But I'll tell you something. The first reaction was my last reaction because basically I'm still fucking crying over this because in a one way, it's an advert for why you shouldn't do drugs because you start hanging around with cocks, and it's not a smaller cock than that fucking guy right there.
It's just the fact that even though like Bieber is buddying up to a rock antichrist legend, it's Manson that's adapting to his fucking douchey pose, his little facial expression of the lip snarl duck face. It's just why are you mimicking him, dude? Like, why aren't you doing something evil and or even just looking bored or
I would
mopey.
I have more respect if he came over and he got his hands around his neck and just squeezed.
Yeah, if he'd have done something like that.
And then see that little smirk on that little fucker's face just
held a
fade to
dagger
black.
up to his head or something. It's a GIF now, it's not just a picture on Instagram.
Exactly. Anyway, let's get away because this is infuriating me. It really is. But yeah,
All right.
basically, I was trying to make a reasoning behind it, but the fact is, people like that shouldn't be nowhere near us. Because I have major respect for everyone in the community.
I used to. Now that I know that Manson hasn't really got standards anymore.
I told you it's drugs. I'm not going to get back down on that fucking argument. I back down on a lot of the argument, but the
you're
drugs
standing by the drug thing.
Yeah, you got to be really out of your face.
So our next story for this episode is,
Yep.
is involving the Defiled, Rich.
Okay.
Do you know the Defiled?
I have to admit, musically, not a big fan. My other half, my better half.
Yes.
She's a huge Defiled fan.
Oh, yeah?
And she's dragged me to a few of their gigs before. And it wasn't kicking and screaming, but yeah, I have to admit.
They're high energetic.
Highly energetic. What they do, maybe it's not to my taste. But
Musically, that is.
yeah, but the thing is, they were how I would actually class as the big support band of the early years, where a lot of gigs that were going around the London area, you normally see Defiled.
It's
And
true,
then
they were around for a lot.
Yeah, they were doing really, really well. I think, Jesus Christ, they made a few albums that I didn't know about. As I said, I got a kind of brief history from my other half, but the thing is, I don't know, just it didn't flow with me on it.
So
but
what is it for her that it does then? Why are they so important to her?
she just really loved the music, and then of course it did help that they were actually very, very sexy. As you can tell by looking at me, she's got a good taste in men.
Yeah.
Bullshit. No competition, of course, but no, and but I have to admit, seeing a Defiled showing, you can't but go. Yeah, they had something. They had almost like a charisma on stage that made you go, as I said, if I was into that music, I'd probably put them as, quite highly on. It's just a style of music I didn't really appeal to.
Yeah, it's not really done anything for me personally either.
No.
I got to check him out, I think, supporting Ghost. I think at the Brixton Academy.
I think I was there, yeah.
Yeah, one where I think they were co-headlining with Gojira at the
Yes.
time. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
we were together on that one.
What? Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we totally did.
I love how you explain it. Sorry, yep, I remember that one.
I was with you,
yeah,
buddy.
Yeah.
I was there.
Fuck, man, that was hers. What, 4 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, so I'll let you off, considering how many brain cells you've destroyed.
Man, yeah.
With a few huffs and puffs.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, on stage, live, fuck, they're very impressive.
His keyboard is swinging his keyboard around, and the energy
head.
and all that. And going back to the energy, you gotta go, fucking well done, boys. Fantastic. And I have to admit, being in the, I've had this conversation with you. Just the intro of the actual podcast about how I feel about what the scene's changed and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And those guys did give it, whether you like it or not, they did give it 110% each time. Yeah. And I was seeing them, headlining gigs. I saw them getting on downloads quite high on the bill, and Sonisphere, I believe they went on there, and they were doing a lot of the US tours as well by the looks of it. And the boys were doing well, and considering they were a UK band,
it was surprising to see them reach that level of popularity and success. At least success in as far as we were to interpret it.
Interpreted, it was like, wow, these these guys are actually making waves. They were in not Terror, sorry, they were in Metal Hammer and all those kind of
the Kerrangs,
the Kerrangs and all that. But I as I said, it more hit me. And it more made me sympathetic by reading, what we're actually looking at right now, which is basically
a statement from the band explaining why they're calling it quits.
And it's like, it kind of casts a shadow on, because you know what they say, when tragedy and all that happens to yourself, to someone else, sorry, I mean, you actually think about your own personal experience, so how it would affect you if you were in that.
Yeah, of course, they can be empathetic and
and
understanding.
Because I think both of us, like, we can see it from the point of view of, we're trying to make it in our bands. We're trying to bring our bands up to a certain standard, and these guys didn't just get to that standard, they've actually surpassed it, but in our eyes, in our view.
Oh, absolutely.
To a certain, because we
wish to reach those heights
in music,
because they're in the Guinness Book of Records, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But in music, you've got a kind of like a league type structure. I know nothing about football, but I can use this metaphor. But basically, we're the pub league levels. I'm talking about myself. I know you guys are slightly above us in that league table, but basically, then you got the the kind of like the main supporting of certain big bands, and then you go up to getting some co-headlining band. You get up and up and up, and these guys were on the higher Ursha of,
way at the top of that ladder,
like that. And then suddenly this came out, and this got thrown to me via my other half, as I said.
Oh, she was the one who told you about it.
Yeah, and I read this, and I was like,
it makes no sense. To me, when I read it, I was like, it doesn't make sense, because they made a statement on, well, the way I came across it was their statement on Facebook back on March 18th. They said that it's with a heavy heart, and just to let you know, there's no drama or fallout, but the Defiled is unfortunately has become logistically, which is financially, basically, untainable. So basically, in short, we don't make enough money to carry on doing what we love doing. Well, that's the only reason for this.
You hear this a lot in for example, Testament. They only recently gave up the day jobs, in the last.
Isn't Chuck like a trucker in for his full-time job?
Yeah, something like it. I heard on the grapevine. It's like you're thinking the legendary, what I would class as, they say the big four. This is the fifth wheel on that kind of thing. The Testament were up there with the Thrash Titans.
They're considered the if the big four of the Thrash Titans were to be the big five.
Yeah.
People will debate Exodus
or Testament,
Testament is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
ones.
but Jesus Christ, and they've just, and I think I heard that Napalm Death, a few of the members they work full time as well. Scheduling. So we know there's no music in it, but I think this putting it to light, because it's going to sound really strange, but the older bands you can understand because they go through popularities.
When they started out in the time where you were able to make money off of record sales, they've managed to somehow, because of that popularity, because of their stamp on history, because of who they are, their stature, they're able to still pull in the money.
But in certain ways, with the Defiled and lots of these bands are making it to this level, you got that kind of aspect in the back of your brain where it's triggering on going, right, what I'm doing in my band is worth it, because these guys are they're working hard, but they're getting these opportunities, and
if they can do it, then
if they can do it, you look at a lot of UK bands and it's like, wow, these guys have made it to that point, and that's amazing, all that.
See, in my day, it was Raging Speedhorn.
I'm
so happy to see them finally get back with pretty much the original lineup, or at least with Frank and John back on dual vocals. They were the band that I watched grow. I remember seeing them before their first album came out, like at the Scala.
They were at main support of every single.
They were every single weekend. It doesn't matter where I went. They were playing. You had an opportunity to go see them. And I remember when their first album came out, and then they had, when Kerrang was still kind of coming up with their own video channel, their single constantly played on their thumper. And then I watched them get all the way up to the second album, where they got main slot at, like, it was either Ozfest or Download or something like that. And now unfortunately what happened to them happened, but I think it was more kind of the band, the infrastructure kind of deteriorating. It wasn't through financial
but then again, we don't know that, because at the time when they actually did break up, there was social networking, but it wasn't to this extent. This is actually this is because of social networking and all that kind of stuff. This is they can actually put this message out, because I'll tell you something, a record label probably does not like them that they actually basically put out this statement. It is basically, they're probably there and like, right, we've got to address our fans and let's be fucking honest with it. And that's what I've got to tip a hat. And I'm sure individually, if a few of the members still want to carry on,
I'm sure all of them do.
You know, Jesus. Well, you know, but the thing is, if you're being depleted of, you know, funds to survive the lifestyle that you want to have, you know,
who's to say what kind of lifestyle that is? Who knows if they're able to kind of make ends meet now that this is over?
Yeah.
Like, did they make enough money off of their popularity when they were riding their successful heydays to sustain them?
Well, but then again, you're talking about heydays, but I'll tell you something, they have been around for some time. Yeah, but we're not talking about heydays as in like Testament and all that, you know, where it goes in. These guys are still, in my eyes, a fairly recent band, and that's the thing, they have a new wave of bands that are coming out of the scene at a moment where, you know, whether you're into them or not, you go, fantastic, a UK band has been recognised, right? It gives
kind of like when Silosis was coming up on the rise. And
and it's like fantastic. It means that we might have a chance. You know, you're with Cadian and me with Dying Vision, we might have a chance to get to that certain level. And then when you see that basically they're at the top of their fucking game, and there still was, you know, the album, from what I could tell, really well in like Metal Hammer and everything, and then suddenly they come out and say, actually, logistically and financially, we can't support this. We can't go on in this kind of thing. And, you know, they put in I have to admit, whoever types this out, you know, they were extremely honest, and it really, it's very nice. It is based straight to our fans. But as I said, when something like this happens, right, even if it doesn't emotionally
affect us, because we're not as close as fans,
and you turn around and go, but then again, it doesn't affect us in that kind of personal, emotional level, but it affects us in like a way of how we view how if a band is, because that band was, whatever you say, they were good looking chaps, right? So all the girlies loved them.
Okay.
Right. Musicianship, they put a lot of high energy. They were very angst-ridden, from what I can imagine.
Okay.
And they were actually what I would class the right band at the right time, doing the right thing. You know, asking Alexandra and all that kind of stuff. They're the kind of that kind of sphere of those kind of bands.
How you mesh them together, kind of thing. They all fall in the same bucket. Yeah, Defiled, asking Alexandra.
Oh, no. But what I mean is, you know, I think the musical scene goes around in circles, and I think, you know, it's those. If you, a lot of luck of bands making it to a certain thing, you have to be, when the scene is getting hungry for certain stuff. So it's like metalcore, for example,
right,
or it might be hardcore. It might be. I'm not saying it's in that kind of bucket. I'm just saying those
I
like.
see what you're saying.
People were looking for something that was perhaps a bit more heavier and all that, but they had that kind of like
whatever it was, it appealed to that.
Exactly, and I think at that time they were right band at the right time, right place, doing right like the new metal part and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So that's what I'm getting at, and I think they were very, very fortunate, and they actually made it, you know, to a certain point. And even with all that success they actually had, turning around saying financially we're screwed, you wouldn't get that 10 or even 20 years ago. That would be unheard of, unless they're, you know, snorting up their nose or going wild when
that is a possibility with this band.
Well, no, I think actually, I think the stage persona and all that kind of stuff, I think actually quite. I've read.
I've heard rumours about certain members.
All right.
Having habits.
All right. Well, we're not going to say that because nothing's been proven, and we're not
exactly.
Say,
this is all speculation, rumour.
Yeah.
Nothing is proven.
But the thing is, if you're on beans and toast because you can't afford, you know, your mortgage, or you can't, you know, if you've got kids, you can't afford, you know, supporting your kids, then I can actually see it being an issue. And I think the issue we've actually revealed in prior podcasts is basically, it comes straight down to where's the money coming from? Where's the money going to? Is the streaming sites, ripping off bands, or is it actually the management that's changing their structure?
It's going over all the old points we've spoken about.
Yeah,
in
and we have
podcasts.
we've said this to death. We spoke about things where we actually said, right, okay, money is not there, so Fear Factory couldn't do a US tour, or money's not there because this band's earning X amount and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, as a young band, well, say young old band, it's really quite heart-wrenching, really, and to be honest, I hope it's on none of the UK bands that are doing well at the moment. I suppose...
Well, it's enough to make you completely lose hope in a certain way, because you just, as you put, there's no point going over it, a band of that stature still can't pull it financially, and that really is fucking upsetting, and I don't know what the future really holds. Something really needs to kind of wake up to put more structure in this, where artists are compensated financially to still do the work that they do and put into
there
it.
Must be something. There must be some fucking clever person who loves their music so much that they cannot come up with a conclusion, because we're losing so many bands, whether they're the bands we like, or whether bands that but it's still musicians put their heart and soul into it. And the thing is, it's one of the industries that they're you're not going to be a millionaire. If you do, you're very, very lucky. Not the Slipknots or Metallicas or those kind of bands, but just making ends meet. That's all you can ask. And if you can't make ends meet, a lot of bands I've seen who are extremely talented lose hope. And if you do, you might lose the next Jimi Hendrix, or you might lose the next Sabbath or whatever, because basically these bands, and it's no fault of the fans, it's just a way that there's what's actually happened is, I just truly believe that basically technology and all the advancements of the modern age, music labels and all that, they fucked it up. They panicked, and they've got no idea of what the consumer wants and needs now. Maybe it's an interaction thing. Maybe it's a bit more, I don't know. I haven't got the answers. I'm not intelligent enough to actually have the answers. But when Napster and all those kind of things, and when the streaming sites came in and all that, you can't backwards compatible.
You can't all of a sudden make that shit not be.
Exactly. It's there. People are going to download, people are going to stream, people
so
are going to do
long as you've
this.
always got an option to get something you have to pay for free, you will always try and find it for free. I mean, everyone's kind of to a certain extent guilty of it, whether it's just watching a video on YouTube as opposed to buying their album and putting it on or whatever. YouTube, for example, but then again, what do you do then? Metallica decided to make a big film, and that didn't turn out too well for them.
Yeah, exactly. There must be someone, that will suddenly click and go, actually, let's look at the fairness between the record label, the promoters, the management, and let's make it. It sounds like a union rep here or something like that, but it needs something. Then again, or else what we were going to do is get bloody bands who are supported by their mummies and daddies coming through, and that's not where the heart of music is. The heart of music is literally getting, people with passion
these
and supporting these artists
because they've got genuine talent and creativity to be offering. Like you said, like you touched upon, all the legends that we know of. Like, let's just look at British culture. It's the Sabbath, Beatles, Rolling Stones, The Who, Queen,
Zeppelin,
Led Zeppelin,
Jesus,
Deep Purple, Thin Lizzy,
Venom.
Just the list goes on, and the way that they were able to sustain, and the reason for why we have all the great music we listen to and enjoy now. Because tell me not, you listen to stuff that's 30 years ago, because it's still great. And the way that we were able to have so much of this is through people buying, people supporting these artists and letting them grow and develop. And that's kind of not what's happening now, because it's become much more corporate in my eyes, where but capitalism has snuck in, and it's now a churning machine of how can we get the most profitable hit.
I done it today, and we didn't even realise. We're debating this, but the thing is, I turned around and went, we were talking about Mythopocalypse and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What did I do? I went, oh, have you heard that song by Zimmer's Hole? And they're like, what song? I went, look. What did I do?
Straight onto YouTube.
Straight onto YouTube, showed you a song.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, and we enjoyed it. But the thing is, if you think about it, it's not our fault because that's the ultimate things.
Before we had these contraptions, if you'd have done that, that conversation would have gone, have you seen that Zimmer's Whole thing with Metalocalypse? I would have gone, no. And you would have been like, anyway.
Or
it would have either been
have
forgotten
a tape.
about, or we would have moved around and actually gone outside and gone looking for it.
Or get a tape and just you copy it on a tape. But the thing is, the tapes were so delicate back in the day that half the time it gets chewed up in the fucking machine.
You need a pencil handy.
Exactly, yeah,
to fix the problem.
You're never going to get that. With youth today, we're going back to that. But the thing is, like CDs and all that kind of stuff, you know, you if you got a scratched CD, you go out and buy another one or whatever. But, you know, you couldn't unless you were very well at the technology.
Well, this is, I think, we're coming to the point of it where it's just like, because of now this instant access to everything, this kind of insta life we're all getting used to. Like, I sat in on a seminar recently where I was having a presentation told to me about the availability, the immediate availability of everything in our normal kind of everyday life. Like Amazon right now have developed and made available these little kind of think of it like almost like a rape alarm or something. It's like a little plastic box that you place anywhere in your house, and it's all that's on this plastic box is a single button. And what it is on your Amazon account you have set up something that you regularly order and regularly need. So let's just straight example off the top of the head, dishwashing detergent or something. So you know that roughly by the amount of washes you have every month you need to replenish. Instead of now having the inconvenience of pulling out your phone and pressing the app and like going through that palaver, this button on this box is all you need now. You just press it and within 1 hour it's at your door. No lie. Absolutely no word of a lie. And then they go on and talk about like drones and then other various
Jesus Christ
instant access. Like they talk about Uber and how they're going to like move on from people transportation to actual materials and goods and services such as like delivering food and so on, much like Deliveroo. This is the world we're now living in, where it's instant access to everything. And once you have instant access, it's great if you have to go through these companies like Amazon, where you have to set up a payment scheme or you have to pay for the things that you're ordering. But when it comes to finding other shit for free on the internet, that like if you could find dishwasher detergent for free and you didn't have to pay for it, you would go get it for free.
But dude,
now,
I need the dishwasher first.
Times are tough. No wonder musicians are going bankrupt. I can't even afford
have a dishwasher, man. I got to do it by fucking water.
Or change it to soap then.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like, that's the thing for me, where it's like, if you have the option of getting something you want for free, rather than pay for it, you are going to take the free option. And I think that's the only downfall in this whole file sharing torrent world that we live in, where it's too easy to attain something from someone, whether it's a film, whether it's music, whether it's someone's artwork, you know, that they throw up online as part of their portfolio.
Going back
and
to
someone
Amazon,
steals the images for something. Like, I think that is where it all relies on. We've got to somehow close the gap on how easy it is for people to get shit for free that is going to feed and support and give culture and vibrance back to our country, you know.
But going back to Amazon, which if you do want to sponsor us, Amazon, we're fully, you know, we need money ourselves. Fuck for musicians. We're doing a podcast for free and it's taking fucking hours to do. A lot of man hours that go into this. But then again, you know, I got an album off of Amazon the other day, and they're now doing. I don't know whether you bought anything recently off Amazon.
I haven't. No.
I did, and it was like, here's the MP3 songs.
Yeah.
And I bought a CD.
Oh, you bought a
I bought a
physical
CD.
Okay.
But they give you MP3 songs.
Oh, that's great though. I'd like that option.
So
it's like when films start coming out.
They are starting to think about the ways of actually doing it. It was really good because it's kind of like fantastic. I think I think.
No, see, I agree with that format. Like, that's totally a great option. It's like, I remember there were certain DVDs being released which had a digital version on there, so you could transfer it to your iPad or your phone or your
I think
laptop
Disney
or
does it. I think Disney does it.
I think they're definitely someone who embraced that, which I think is a great idea because it's just embracing the multiple ways that people like to digest their entertainment. But I'm still saying, so long as there's a pocket out there where you can get it for free, it's always going to drain and take away. And I totally agree. I think it's an amazing thing to do. You buy a physical copy of an album and they give you a digital copy as well for free.
So people are thinking about it. So we just have to see in the future, you know, as we're kind of casting away from the actual main issue, and that's Defiled. We tip our hats and say, well, good job for getting to where you are, and hopefully people will start looking at the music industry a bit differently, and maybe it might be a bit of a wake-up call for record labels and people, the fans as well, maybe going, actually, shit, what the fuck's just happened? So
exactly,
you know, but I have to admit, for the way they typed it and whoever done it, it was very, 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 very good, because he identified the issues and he done a very good send-off for a band. So whatever they do in the future, good luck to them. It's just one of those things, unfortunately.
It is. We kind of talked a lot about the kind of financial issues of bands and how hard it is to struggle. Should I barely mention the kind of segue point of the Butcher Babies quoted as saying, "We're poor as shit, man. Like, we ain't making no money."
Yeah, but okay, right.
So it's happening everywhere. It's not just UK genuine, to a certain extent, talent. It's happening in America too, where two incredibly hot ladies.
Yeah, I was going to say, right, Butcher Babies. Right, I'm going to sound like an elitist prick here, and I am really not an elitist prick.
Be careful.
Right, I am going to be careful, but the thing is, we're poor as shit. I'll tell you something.
That's their quote.
Yeah, that's their quote.
It's
our quote as well, to be honest. But,
Yeah.
Right, look, they had so many good opportunities, and this is another band that I really not a big fan of. They see themselves as powerful women, and music industry being very, very sexist and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're they're Spice Girls of the metal community.
Yeah, and I can see where it comes from, but okay, right, they're poor as shit, right? They do come from porn backgrounds.
Why are you
going
to bring up old shit for, man?
No,
Why are you going to bring up old shit for?
I am not talking about old shit. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
But basically, for example, if you're at a very well-paid job,
so you think instantly, if you're a porn star, you get incredibly well paid?
Well, you get. Well, they work for Playboy. I'm sure they
One
get
of them
quite
did.
a substantial. No,
As
both of them did.
As a reporter.
But no, what I'm
never
actually,
said what. She was a journalist, man.
Look.
She was Lois Lane at Playboy.
Right, okay.
Don't discredit her just because it was a
look.
porn station.
I'm not discrediting her, and I'm sure I've actually purchased or maybe even handled some of her material. And I am probably a bigger fan of that than the music, I have to be honest. But the thing is, what I'm actually stating, and this is a true thing, right? The Defiled, they've come from, basically, we don't know the background, but probably, UK
humble beginnings
and all that kind of stuff, and they probably went straight into it. These guys, I can congratulate them, but one was a porn agency, and what I'm actually stating is, for example, I have family, right, and not in the porn industry, unfortunately. But, with a stature like this, you can understand.
If Ron Jeremy can do it, mate.
Yeah, but there's a reason why, and it's one good reason. There's no good reason about me. All right, but basically, I'm quite a low paid person and all that kind of stuff.
Blue collar.
Yeah. The family member I'm talking about gets paid quite a bit. Right. And basically, if he gets a pay cut, if he changes jobs and he gets a huge pay cut, that affects him because he's used to the lifestyle of having a lot of money.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right, so he would think instantly he's as poor as shit. Where me, if I got a pay
You'd still
cut,
be like, you lucky motherfucker.
You
don't know what poor is,
exactly,
mate.
Yeah, it's about. I got to admit, right? These. I might be wrong in thinking this, but I do think if we're poor as shit and they've got that kind of background in the adult entertainment industry, right? I'm sure their movies and everything they've done prior has actually given them a bit of a nest egg. And I think maybe what they're saying is basically it is in pain as well as they once hoped. So it does indicate what we're talking about. But I really, where it's come to these girls, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. The Defiled, when they actually lose their band,
they haven't got a sex career to fall back on.
Well,
you did mention that they were pretty boys. You never know.
Well, could do. I don't know that much about them, but I do know about these girls, and I have to admit, I'm not even stating because they're not talented because they're female and what kind of bollocks. Because at the end of the day, I just take the music for what it is, and how they get there is up to them. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of elitist bullshitters going around it. But what I'm actually saying is, with these girls, there is modelling careers I can see, even if they don't want to do the more adult entertainment thing. There's a lot of things that you actually can do. They probably just realise that when they actually brought the band together, and as I said, I'm not a fan of the music, and maybe the music's not paying as well as they once hoped, and I think that's where they're saying we're poor as shit. I can't see them in the dole queue like Defiled.
Well, that's definitely something that you can speak of, but I think I want to look at the larger picture, which is unfortunately the umbrella, which also covers the Defiled, which is music just doesn't seem to be making money.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Them turning around and saying we're poor as shit, fair enough. But from them saying in an interview we're poor as shit, but they're still in the band and still doing it, from someone who's going, we're poor as shit, we have to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's definitely.
You know, we're looking at two stories parallel to each other and
suffering the same shit.
But one can do it, and they're like, that is true, but we were poor back then too. Like, and it's like I think one of them says there was misconduct, as people seem to think if you're in a signed band. Well, I tell you something, I know a lot of bands that aren't signed and they're still trying to get signed, or they're in signed bands that aren't in major record labels, that are on a poverty line, trying to make ends meet and still having their day job. Not being funny, that's poor as shit.
Yeah, it is.
So that's what I'm preaching. I'm not preaching any hate towards these.
So you're just thinking their statement's a little bit extreme considering the circumstances.
What I'm saying is they don't know what poor as shit is.
Looking from the looks of them, they'll never know what really being poor
because
as shit
as
is.
I said, they're really, they've had a modelling career, an adult career.
Don't discredit. Don't forget their writing skills as well. One of them's got like a couple of comic books out there. And,
exactly.
They're diversifying. That they've got some.
Which is good because that's
one of them's like a funeral director or used to be. Went to college in America and got a degree in mortuary science. What the hell, dude? Like, you take one look at these and you go, oh, porn stars this, porn stars that, but there's a fuckload of substance behind that.
No. I didn't mean it, that was misquoted. I was more pissed off with the quote, with the kind of concept of what we were talking about before, with the other bands, and also where we're coming from. These girls, okay, fair enough, whether it's a credit of their music, as I said, I can't see that myself, but whatever way they got to be signed by a major label is probably a lot more than a lot of these talented bands signed by a not as major label and getting ripped off. Not having the merch rights or not having a certain,
this is again, we're going to fall into that rabbit's hole of all
we're not
the
gonna
reasonings as to why this is happening. But end of the day, music is dead. There's no money in it.
This is a depressing part of the actual podcast.
You know how we said at the beginning of the show, no one's died this month. Well, just careers.
We're dying inside.
No one physically has died, but people's careers are over.
Good luck to them.
And to the Defiled and whatever they may pursue in
exactly
future endeavours.
But the Butcher Babies are still going. So please, don't worry, boys and girls, and all those lovely prepubescent. Yeah, I can't even say it. Fucking hell. Those lovely kids who just like to have those lovely posters on their wall
supporting boobies.
Yes. We love jugs.
The jugs do work.
Yeah, they do a lot.
They do. Okay, Rich.
Okay.
This is the next story we're going to talk about.
Right, go for it.
It's involving your favorite performer of creative stances.
The silhouette man.
The slender man of the music world.
Fucking hell.
Maynard James Keenan.
I love him.
Tool and Pussifer. And one of your old favourites, Green Jelly.
They don't suck.
Well, you'll never guess what he's come out and said now. It's not.
Oh, hold on.
You know how we spoke about on a previous podcast, which you're available to download and
download SoundCloud, please do it. Share.
We talked about one particular thing where he was insulting his fan base, just going, "Oh, they're so fucking. I'm so tired of that."
Yeah, being a prima donna.
Well, this time he's not excluding just people who aren't his fans.
Okay.
Because he's directed this next thing at everyone on the planet.
Cool.
He's basically said, what I think.
Hold on. You're doing the impression.
I'm trying to find the right voice for Maynard because, you know.
Work it out first.
I think I've got to sing a Tool song to kind of get into the mindset of Maynard and be just like.
Alright, this is the time where everyone's going to close their ears. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's changing
I'm finding
something.
it hard finding the right.
I'm finding it hard as well.
I'm
you sexy beast.
I'm hitting too high a note. It's putting that vibration just a little bit. Too tender of a spot right now.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Anyway, talking about a tender spot, Maynard.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'll just go for it. He's been quoted as saying, "What I think would help is some borderline extinction level event. I think that what would kind of set everything pretty straight, something gorgeous, a meteor, a few tidal waves, maybe a rapid ice age, but something to kind of make you worry about shit like food and clothing and shelter rather than tweeting."
Ooh, you know something? It's gonna fucking shock you. It's gonna really shock you. You ready?
Not quite yet. Hang on.
Ready?
Let me think about it. I just need.
Yep.
So he wants an extinction level. Show tweeting. Go.
I agree.
Shock fucking horror.
I agree. Everyone should be exterminated to a certain point where you're
Jesus
you got your
Christ.
knife and you got to fucking butcher things to eat and survive and all that kind of stuff. Because humanity sucks.
Oh, God.
Humanity is. I actually agree with this guy because I'll tell you something. With all the stuff we're talking about, the music, technology, and all that kind of stuff, all we need is a good power cut. But then again, we can't do a podcast without power cut. Apart from us, and we can be the one radio station. We could make something. Imagine making something with your fucking hands rather than get it fucking shipped over from fucking China. Seriously, I actually agree. Not to the extent of him, but, you know, that what he's
maybe
talking about.
Maybe not a meteor.
He's kind
or
of
ice age, but, you know, a tidal wave.
Yeah,
you know,
just something just to. If there's a way of just, you know, I'm not talking as in I'm not doing the white wine segment here. I'm not going like the
it
whole,
does sound like you're a Trump supporter right now.
Yeah,
though.
I
just
know.
like fuck it.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I judge everyone equally, and everyone's a cunt, right? Apart from the people that I like, and they are few and far between. And luckily, you're one of them.
Oh, I'm a survivor.
So you're a survivor. Yeah, you survived in my world, in my head, in my my vision of this utopia that I call this world.
This post-apocalyptic future of yours best be fucking cool.
It is awesome. Seriously.
There's no one tweeting or nothing.
No. I tell you, Facebook's completely fucking out of it. Seriously. They will hear my voice. They will, like, people will bow. No, it won't be
This
that.
is becoming like Hitler, man.
It'd be
I'm
like-
watching the Fourth Reich rise in front of me.
No, because Hitler was an underachiever. What I'm thinking about was basically exterminate all the fucking people and start again. And basically, I'm not judging people on colour, creed, or any sexual preference or anything like that. I'm just saying what you should do is basically find all his wank stains. Start with Justin Bieber first, right? We spoke about him.
Go ask Marilyn Manson. I hear he's been hanging out with
well,
him.
he's guilty through association or something like that, isn't he? But no, seriously, I can see where he comes from. You know, there's always a part of me that thinks, right, you know, you see the Bear's Grill type fucking bollocks going on.
The nature guy who goes out there surviving on just his own rugged good looks.
Yeah, you see this piss? I can survive 3 days drinking my own piss. It's like, go ahead. I've got Lucasade in the fridge. It tastes like piss. But no, seriously, I'm just having a bit of a just review, to be honest, because basically at the end of the day, I wouldn't survive. Have you seen how fat I am? How could I sustain this without a Mackie D's around the corner?
Oh, mate, could you imagine, though, if you had to? Like, I'm always thinking about that zombie apocalypse. Like,
yes.
he mentioned tidal waves and ice ages, but he didn't mention zombies. Why can't he mention zombies?
Because
like,
zombies are the past, man. He's a fucking future.
What, natural disasters.
Zombies, man, it's a past. It's with the vampires. This is how it's going to go down.
Sparkling zombies.
Oh, no, not sparkling zombies. Oh, fucking hell. They ruined fucking vampires. If they're going to make a fucking
I don't know how they're going to
sparkles.
First of all, they made them fucking sparkle, right? Then they made them fucking presidents.
Oh, no, but then again, the new movie that's out will destroy zombies. So he is right.
What will destroy?
At Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. That will fucking destroy zombies. From but then again, you're thinking 28 Days Later zombies. I always think Shaun of the Dead zombies. I don't know why.
Those are the ones. That's Night of the Living Dead, isn't it? Like Shaun of the Dead is like a straight homage comedy.
Oh
parody
yeah.
of Night of the Living Dead.
But the thing is, getting your vinyls out and fucking decapitating and like getting
Army
like
cricket bat up
and going straight to the pub. That's my idea of a zombie apocalypse, and I will keep that true to my heart because everything else scares the shit out of me because I would not survive. If it, look, have you read my T-shirt? These are fucking good T-shirts. What's it say?
Your hair's in the way. I can't see shit.
There you go.
I would push you in front of zombies to save my cat.
Yeah, it's true. It would be absolutely true. I know. It's a good T-shirt though, isn't it? But the thing is, I wouldn't know. I'd be completely stumped. But then again, I have to admit,
you'd like to see less people on the earth.
If there's a way of if there's
something that takes us back a whole technological generation.
No. I love my technology. We wouldn't be doing this right now if we didn't have technology surrounding
technically
us.
we could, but it cost us a lot more money.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let us do it unless we were on one of those pirate ships.
You're very true. Yeah, we'd have to do one of them.
Okay, so this next story, I'm gonna tell you a tale.
All right, hear the reins.
Here we go. Right now, because you say a lot of these stories and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you a lowdown on this because I am truly devastated for this guy.
This is one of my favourite bands of all fucking
I know,
time,
and that's why I thought I'd take the helm because
this is too emotionally distressing for me at the moment. I just can't take.
Okay, you calm down. I explained to the actual listeners exactly what the story is. Basically, Brian Johnson, all right, if no one knows him, then fuck off. No, seriously. No, Brian Johnson is the lead singer, screamer for ACDC. A very popular band. If you don't know them, then you can honestly fuck off because they're one of the best quality bands.
Straight up rock and roll.
Yeah,
ever.
Fantastic. Right,
so much so that another band has now come out, Airborne, who have just ripped them off, and they're ACDC Mark
They are a tribute, right? But we'll get to that in a second because I want to briefly intervene. Don't know what that means. But anyway, so basically, what's actually happened is, ACDC, they with Bon Scott's death years and years and years ago.
So long ago. Brian Johnson is now ACDC.
Yeah, he created Since Back in Black, I believe, which is one of the
subliminal.
Well, subliminal. Yeah. Okay, but no, it's up there with. I think it's second to only like Michael Jackson's Thriller or something like that. It's one of the epic, rock, hard rock, metal, whatever you call it.
Rock.
That is one thing, and these icons seem to either be going or having issues, and we had it with the guitarist as well from ACDC recently. He had a health scare.
That's right, Malcolm Young.
Yes, which was terrible in itself.
And then Phil Rudd, the drummer, had a massive run-in with the law over drugs and shit.
Yeah, which we still haven't got to the bottom of. I'm still expecting that coming up soon in the next coming months, to be honest. But then to top it off, they're on a new tour at the moment, and it's called Rock or Bust, which is ironic.
Very ironic.
A lot, I think, are going to not go bust in money, but
Busting eardrums.
Yeah, well, you've got the story, my friend.
Well,
so Brian Johnson was basically
involved in a kind of incident when he was sitting in his race car for too long without earplugs.
Yeah, basically,
he burst his eardrum. Didn't he?
Everyone, when they first read this, we just automatically went, he plays for a band. It's a very loud band. Not the loudest band on the planet.
No, that's title's reserved for another one.
Yeah, and his eardrums burst, and basically, it turns out it wasn't to do with loud music. It was actually to do with race car.
See, there you are.
Yes,
always being tarnished with the bad fucking taint.
I don't care. I just wish it would never happen. He didn't have ear protectors or something under his helmet, and basically, it went bang, and he heard it go, and went to the doctors, and the doctors basically turned around to him and went, right, okay, stop touring, or else you're gonna be completely deaf. Can you imagine? There are certain things, you know, when you get this whole thing of like, right, okay, if you had a choice of losing any senses, what ones would it actually be?
I go crazy at this question. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea because but
as I get older, I think it would be deaf. Like, as much as I love fucking music and I don't know what I'd do without being able to hear things again, I think after having lived in the city for this long, I'd appreciate the quiet and not hearing the endless, mindless shit.
You're gonna be like a
on.
hermit in the fucking woods or something, yeah. Jesus, you're not close.
Because think about it, like, to lose sight, I just don't know what I would do.
Well, to lose sight, you can still feel.
I could become Daredevil. Like, I'd like to become a superhero.
You keep on coming back to this Daredevil. You're itching to do this review. We will do this review one day. But I'm more of a Punisher of metal.
We've established.
But no, seriously, I don't know.
I'm distressed at this news over Brian Johnson because ACDC are one of my favourite bands. I've never managed to, in all the times I've been a fan, see them live. And when I heard about the tour that they were bringing to the UK, I think we actually did mention it on another previous podcast where we just couldn't afford to see them because it was just like, are you kidding, man? Like, I don't care what kind of a show you're bringing. I can't justify spending that kind of money.
And then we hear this and we're like, no.
Well, we'll come to it. Actually, that might lead us straight into it. But because of because of what we would now be seeing after having spent that much money. Which is...
well, hold on. Can we just clarify, all right, for the lovely people at home? This is the early part. And as the early part happened to coincide, every media outlet went fucking berserk of like, who's gonna replace Brian Johnson? And everyone went berserk. I've heard names that are really random, right? I don't know whether it's an April Fool's joke or anything.
It's getting awfully close to that time.
Yes, but there is a rumor in the rumor mill that it is Axl Rose.
I thought you were going to say Rotten, the wrestler.
Axl Rose. Yeah, no. It's probably just as bad. Right, we've been previously speaking about Mr. Rose and speaking about the Guns N' Roses reunion and all that kind of stuff. And I think we both came to the conclusion that in the day he was great, and now
he's not so great.
No,
not so great as he may not be. But I actually did check out a couple of YouTube videos of when Guns N' Roses, the new Guns N' Roses, did a couple of AC/DC cover songs. One of them was Riff Raff, and
really?
The other one was Whole Lotta Rosie.
Is this a recent?
No, this is what I discovered. Like, once I heard news that Axl might be fronting his band.
He was thin and he was energetic and he wasn't like struggling for air.
No, he was all of those things still. But this is going back to like I think 2011. So like good 4 or 5 years ago. And even then, like, it was good.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely enjoyed what the guys were doing. But even though I thought it's cool to see Axl do a song here or there, I can see him, and I might enjoy doing a whole show of AC/DC. But Yeah.
My main problem is not so much him, believe it or not. You know, for once, even though I haven't got high views of him.
Not at all.
It's pretty obvious and accountable to the past podcasts. The problem I've got is, ACDC are high energy show.
Oh, Malcolm's a fucking lunatic still, man.
Yeah, and Angus and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, sorry, Angus.
Angus. Malcolm's not so good at
the Young Brothers.
Yeah, but
Malcolm kind of just stands there like a skeleton.
Yeah, well, let's not say that too much as well. Jesus. Jesus, it'll be rock or bust, this fucking tour.
Oh, Jesus.
But, no, the thing I was actually saying about was basically, there is so many young bucks out there who, because one thing about Brian Johnson, I've seen in, like, the shows and all that he's done in the past, is he's always had that kind of youthful energy.
He's just got charisma oozing.
He has. And the thing is, what I've got an issue with is pass the torch to someone not the has-beens or the people who are trying to reignite their, like Guns N' Roses. They're going to do well with a Guns N' Roses tour and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't need to have that limelight of being part of ACDC.
Mm-hmm.
There is that band we mentioned called Airborne.
Yeah.
Right? I can't pronounce his name. You try it.
Oh, what, the lead singer?
Yes, go for it.
Joel O'Keefe.
That's it. It's probably completely...
Keefe.
But I'll tell you something. I went to see Airborne in Sonisphere.
I saw... Is this the one where he climbed the pylons?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has such a good charisma. He didn't even need to actually climb a pylon.
Even
though it was fucking good.
I might have said something critical using them, but I fucking love Airborne. I stand by their first two albums are fucking great.
Yeah. Too Much Too Young and all that kind of stuff was fucking a classic rock anthem. But the thing is,
running free with Lemmy in the video.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. But the thing is, with Airborne, they're not changing the wheel, and they will never, be one of the progressive metal bands or rock bands of today.
They're straight up classic ACDC formulated
They
rock.
are literally up there with, I'm thinking with Malcolm being not overly good health-wise and all that kind of stuff.
And with Rudd's trouble with the police.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is,
Malcolm should just go join Airborne. That's
yeah. But no, it's yes and no. I think the guy has, even if you take a guitar off him and he doesn't climb up and all that kind of stuff, he is one of those type of vocalists who we know, but maybe the classic rock community doesn't know as much. And I think the Airborne should be a lot more, and having, it's kind of like it's the old passing of the torch type thing. The Axl Rose doesn't need that. He is Axl Rose. Everyone knows Axl Rose, whether they love him, hate him, or
that's probably the
him.
reason they want him on the tour, because ACDC are gargantuan legends. They're titans in their own field, and I guess they probably feel they need someone of their ilk to come stand in. Because
I didn't think that, to be honest.
As much as I fucking love me Airborne, as much as I think now that you've said it, like that's a perfect solution to this. Get old Joel on the case. Because he would do Brian Bond's vocals a fucking treat.
He would do Bond as well, Bond,
I'd actually love to. I would actually now pay to go see
exactly
to see that. I'm not so sure if I was a ticket holder currently, hearing the news that Axl is now the one I'm going to see. I think as a novelty, it's like what was the festival where Lars fell out? And they had to get Joey
Joey
and Dave
Lombardo. That was Ozfest. It was one of the Ozfest.
Something like that.
99 or
but see, a one-off like that,
but then
I would like to go see, but I don't know if I'd like to see him fill in for a tour.
There's a difference because it's going back to, Motorhead, when Motorhead turned around and, Phil Campbell turned around and went, there's no Motorhead because the lead was the vocalist and the face of it. And I know they changed from Bon Scott to Brian, but it was so early in their career.
Couple of albums in.
They could. I don't know. I can see. I never really thought of it that much about the whole Axl being that kind of main attraction, and I still don't, because He's got his Guns N' Roses gig going on as well.
No harm in earning that extra money.
Oh, I'm sure it's big dollar signs and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, people are going to be disappointed anyway. If it's not,
it's true. Just because Axl is the chosen replacement doesn't mean whoever it was that was announced would have appeased
right now
everyone.
and said basically you would pay money to see Joey doing Joel, whatever his name is, to actually from
It's
Airborne
true. I'd probably be
to do it.
pissed off that I'm not seeing Brian. I'm seeing that knockoff ACDC guy trying.
But you're also seeing a person, Axl Rose, who, from everything, yes, he's related to Guns N' Roses, but he ain't done fucking nothing.
Well, as far as we know, as far as he lets the media know what he's up to. Like, have you seen the recent pictures of him where he's actually meant to be kind of like getting back into shape and so on?
No.
Yeah, well, you never know. I think
But
now having this kind of big reunion tour set, he's working towards now getting himself back together.
I'm not sold. I would actually be more disappointed if Axl Rose was actually announced as an AC/DC replacement, because if I'm a big rock fan, which I am, and hopefully the people in the AC, they're quite they're a bit of like an army, to be honest. AC/DC, they're like the Maiden lots and all that kind of stuff, so they will know. And if you look at Axl and go, really, he's gonna be it. And I'm sure they're not looking at the past, they're looking at people who can replace them now. If it was Guns N' Roses and he done a spot on perfect Guns N' Roses tour, and it was reunion and everyone was like, that was fucking amazing, all our doubts went out of the window as soon as you came on. You were the old school Axl Rose, phenomenal. If he was that person and then AC/DC were like, the whole Brian Johnson thing, then I go, yeah, I'd be interested. It's just because, maybe it's because I know the history, but all the pictures, all the photos and everything you see, the vocals that came out of him on the last couple of times he actually made an appearance, he couldn't sing his own songs, let alone singing something
it's
which
so
is
weird. Like,
very high energy.
I keep seeing it skewed. Like, I've seen, like, when they did all those dates in Las Vegas, I think it was at the Hard Rock Cafe or hotel or something, that they had like a permanent fixture there on a nightly basis. I saw video footage of just the worst sounding vocals from Axl I could ever have heard. But I've heard other ones where he was perfectly fine.
Like, the other one's probably taped behind him.
Who knows?
It's like it happened with Britney Spears and all the other
Courtney Love.
Yeah, Courtney Love. And look, the thing is, we'll have to see. But I personally think
I would. It's an odd choice.
Like, I don't think it's an odd choice because of the way his vocals used to be. I think someone's actually looking down the list of their phone number contacts and went, Guns N' Roses, I remember them being really good. Oh, I wonder if Axl was free, because he's got a really good, different vocals and all that. But they probably didn't hear the latest Chinese Democracy or the latest gigs that they done in the Hard Rock, all that kind of stuff. What they've probably done is saw Axl of the 20-year veteran back in the day. He's not done a lot of gigs. He's not done a full-time schedule as well. One thing about rock and roll and rock and metal and all that kind of stuff is all about the show. But the show is not in front of you. The show is in your ears. This is what I was saying, going back to our previous conversations. It's, you've got to have that certain it factor to bring those people to that kind of standard. And you don't do it via visual, because Brian Johnson, he's getting on a bit.
He
Ozzy's
tends to just
on.
Tiptoe from one end of the stage to the other.
But it's the voice. It's a voice that can actually do it. It's a music surrounding that voice, and it's the whole package where you can close your eyes and go, wow, this is fucking phenomenal. And that is something that I have yet to hear from Axl in the last 20 years. This guy, Joel, right, from Airborne, he made me go, fucking hell, that was amazing. And that is something I can say within the last couple of years. And he still carries on doing that to a certain level. And that is a level that ACDC need to go for, rather than going for what is going to hit the dollar sign.
Well,
that's my opinion.
You've said it all right there, man. So I think the only thing left to do is to wrap this episode up.
I think so. And don't forget, we're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, we're on the Independent Voice, and you can download us, enjoy at your own leisure. Thank you so much. I have been Rich.
I'm Joe.
And this is a Monthly Itch.
Good night.
That's all, folks.